Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're driving the brand new Ferrari Amalfi. And this might be one of the most important Ferraris in the entire lineup. Because this is the entry-level Ferrari, the cheapest way to own a brand new prancing horse. But that raises a few big questions. Does it actually look like a Ferrari? Or does it look a bit like a Toyota Prius? Or even a Honda Prelude? Does it sound better than the car it replaces, the Ferrari Roma? Have Ferrari finally fixed those confusing touch-button interiors? And most importantly, is this actually the best Ferrari you can drive on a normal road? Well, today, we're going to find out. Let's start with the price. The new Ferrari Amalfi starts at around £224,000. But if you know anything about Ferrari, you know the options list is dangerous. Let's play a quick game. Carbon fiber steering wheel with shift LEDs. That's £3,359. Passenger display, a slightly ridiculous £3,919. Soft close. Doors, almost £1,000. Titanium exhaust, surprisingly cheap for Ferrari standards at £1,680. But the real shocker is the paint. Ferrari now treats paint like a luxury product. This special green color costs over £8,000. Historic paint colors or paint-to-sample options can cost anywhere between £22,000 and £39,000. So at this point, Ferrari might actually be a paint company that builds cars on the side. Under the hood, though, things stay very traditional. You get a 3.9-liter twin-turbo V8. Power output? A massive 631 horsepower. That's actually 20 horsepower more than the Roma. And it's thanks to upgraded turbos that now spin 7,000 revolutions per minute faster, reaching an insane 171,000 revolutions per minute. Performance numbers are exactly what you'd expect from a Ferrari. 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.3 seconds. Top speed, 200 miles per hour. But Ferrari says the real improvement isn't just speed, it's character. At low revs, the Amalfi is much quieter than the Roma. That car had a bit of a drone problem, especially on long journeys. But Ferrari has fixed that here. When you're cruising, the engine is refined and calm. But push it harder, and suddenly the engine wakes up. At the top end, it sounds surprisingly similar to the legendary Ferrari 458 Italia. Raw, sharp, and unmistakably Ferrari. And then there's the gearbox. Ferrari's 8-speed dual-clutch transmission is still one of the best in the world. The paddle shifters feel absolutely perfect. Shifts are instant. In automatic mode, it behaves smoothly in traffic. But switch to manual mode, and it becomes lightning fast. Ferrari simply makes the best paddle shifters in the business. Now let's talk about the design, because this is where opinions get interesting. Some people say the Amalfi looks strange. The headlights are tiny and hidden inside this visor-like front design. Ferrari says this helps airflow into the engine bay, but it also gives the car a slightly unusual face, or actually no face at all. And that's the issue. If a car doesn't have an expression, it's harder for people to connect with it. But step back and look at the overall shape. It's actually very classic. Long bonnet, short rear deck, wide muscular rear shoulders. It's the traditional GT formula, similar to icons like the Jaguar E-Type or the Porsche 928. So while the front might be controversial, the rest of the car is actually very beautiful. Inside the car, Ferrari has made some very welcome improvements. The steering wheel now has physical buttons again, which means you can actually use the controls while driving. That alone is a massive upgrade over the Roma. The famous Manettino switch is still here too. It lets you switch between modes like Wet Comfort Sport Race, and it's still one of the best drive mode systems in the entire industry. The new center touchscreen is also faster and sharper. But there's one small problem. It sits quite low in the OR dashboard, which means you have to look away from the road to adjust things like climate or audio. But the real magic of the Amalfi happens when you start driving. Ferrari calls this their back-to-basics car. There's no hybrid system, no complicated rear-wheel steering, just a powerful engine, a brilliant chassis, and fantastic balance. And the result is a car that feels alive. It's comfortable in city traffic. It's smooth on long journeys. And when the road opens up, it becomes an incredibly exciting sports car. And that leads to something quite surprising. In recent years, many new cars have actually gotten worse. More complicated, more annoying, more digital. But the Ferrari Amalfi proves that progress is still possible. Because compared to the Ferrari Roma, this car is easier to drive fast, more comfortable, more intuitive inside, and simply more enjoyable. Which means the cheapest Ferrari you can buy might actually be one of the best Ferraris to drive every day.